So as you can imagine, there's so much mixed information when it comes to when do I book the second session, my client's third session. If I sell them a 5-pack session, do I have to have a week in between, 2 weeks, couple of days, do they have the audios in between? I want to clear all this up now, guys. When do you book your second session? We all know that we all come from a place of ACH, Advanced Conversational Hypnosis. And the first thing we teach our students not to do is you never want to assume that you need more than one session. If you go into a session thinking your client needs more, what have you already done? What is the position you're taking? You've already said to yourself unconsciously, remember, you've got an unconscious mind sitting in front of you that may pick up on your own psychotic insights or your own psychotic traits as far as what they see and you don't realize what you're doing, that is now going to set the ceiling. You do not want to go in thinking you need more than one session. Do not set that ceiling for yourself. And this is a big one. Nor listen to mentors who tell you need more than one. A mentor, no matter who they are, who your favorite gurus are, can never tell you your clients need more than one. Don't ever assume. Now, am I saying that all clients need more than one session? I'm not saying that at all. Some will, some won't. But if I go into it thinking I can get a hell of a lot done in one session, I'm already taking a position of success. And that's a lot easier than thinking, well, I've got 5 sessions to do this. Remember, every time you send your client home a quote unquote failure, 1 session, 2 sessions, 5 sessions, 10 sessions later, eventually they're going to turn around and say, wow, when is this going to work? This is getting monotonous, getting boring. And they'll start to loop in new problems, new anger, new frustration that it's not working into the original problem. Now, there's a big thing out there that says the unconscious mind needs repetition. Absolute garbage. Okay, the unconscious mind can change very, very quickly if you allow it to. And I always say this, repetition of the wrong thing does not make it right. If I have my client in for 1 session, I do everything I need to, and then I'm just banking on the second session, the third will reinforce it over and over and over. If I keep doing the wrong thing, it's not going to make it right. Okay, so am I saying clients need more than one? We won't know until we get the first session done. But take it from a position of success, guys, that in 1 session, you can get a hell of a lot done if obviously you have the right protocol to do so. So let's say you do want to book in a second session. If needed, like the problem still exists, you've got more knots that need to be untied, etc. Only book further sessions if this occurs, or once this occurs, once processing is complete. You guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about processing. If you go through the catalog of our videos, I'll talk about processing all the time because it's a fundamental flaw that therapists, if they're not taught, don't use to their advantage. I will only ever, if I ever had needed to book in a second session, once processing is complete. And processing is the therapy. It's the thing that client does for themselves after the session, okay? Let that processing complete. And you might be thinking, well, how do I know it's complete? Your client, and we may have fun with this during the courses, because I always try and find a better way or a better PC way to say this word. But when a client goes back to being quote unquote normal, like the processing stopped, the weird emotions, the weird insights, the insomnia is gone away, all the things that processing does. Once that stops and your client goes quote unquote back to normal, if the problem still exists, the emotion's still there, then the processing has stopped, a second session might be needed. That's the key word here, might be. Secondly, once a client reaches out to you, guys, if you're a therapist right now and you're telling your client, I'll see you on Wednesday, and now today is Sunday for the session, okay? You are now forcing a second session. You're going to stop that processing. The only time I would ever book another session outside of processing being complete is if my client reaches out to me. I never catch up with the client. I never see how they're doing. And it's pretty obvious why. Let's say my client has a massive breakthrough. I never hear from them again. That's fine. That's just the way clients are with some therapists. And let's say I call in 2 weeks, say, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? The client may start to think, why is Scott calling me? I thought the session was done. I thought my smoking was gone. I thought my anxiety was gone. Does he know something I don't know? And what I've done is I've now started to create a seed of doubt inside my client that could turn into a snowball effect and create another problem or bring the problem back. Any of those things. I always tell my client at the end of a session, you reach out to me if you need anything. I don't tell them I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to reach out. That's pretty much the last thing I say to every client. So processing complete, guys. Your client reaches out to you. Don't jump into just booking a session. What I recommend we tell our students is get on a strategy call with them, or just a quick call to see, are they still processing? You'll be able to tell. If your client can't even piece words together or is all still confused, that's processing. And with a good processing chat at the end of the session, which we know we should do, they're prepared for this. Okay. Number 3, last thing, audios and homework will interrupt processing. I don't know, man, how many times I've said that. People get really, really annoyed and try to create arguments around this. Processing is your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th, 20th, 30th session that you as the therapist don't need to be involved with. Your client's mind is way more intelligent than you. It solved more problems for that person than you could ever imagine. So let the mind do what it does best. Audios and homework will only interrupt processing. It will not speed anything up. I guarantee it'll slow it down. On the flip side of that, guys, clients don't listen to this stuff, let's be honest, and it will make no impact even if they do, because it's very low tier strategies, very low tier thinking. Let the processing do what it's supposed to do, okay? So guys, the big takeaway for today, don't listen to your mentors who tell you need more than one. I'm not saying they won't or they will. We won't know, and you won't know until you do that first session and find out what's the result of what we've done today. Your clients may not need the second, third, fourth, fifth session. And if you believe and trust in the processing, guys, it'll do a way better session than you ever will. Processing from a client's mind is a way better therapist than all of those certifications that you have on your wall across the entire globe put together. Your client's mind knows more than you. All right, guys. So it's the only time I book in a second session. Hopefully that clears up that confusion out there. See you in the next video.